Rivalries are at the very heart of any sport. Lakers versus Celtics, Yankees versus Red Sox, Ali versus Frazier. Much of sports history is told through the lens of its greatest rivalries. So, it's time to delve into the greatest rivalries in the history of the UFC, but before we begin, let's define what we mean by greatest. Am I referring to the most entertaining, the most competitive, the most impactful? I'm going to go with the most impactful. That isn't to say there isn't a level of entertainment or competitiveness with those rivalries, as those factors can be part of what makes them so impactful, but those traits can also be absent. This rivalry is one of the most iconic in UFC history, a defining moment that marked the beginning of the sport's modern era. So let's dive in. Conor McGregor versus José Aldo. Many would argue that this isn't McGregor's greatest rivalry, let alone the third best in UFC history. I'll be the first to admit that the back and forth between McGregor and Nate Diaz featured some of the most memorable sound bites in combat sports history. However, in terms of impact, it was his rivalry with José Aldo that transformed McGregor from a star into the biggest name in all of MMA. The build-up to their fight lasted nearly a year, captivating fans worldwide. It was obvious that the UFC was grooming McGregor to be a champion, but this was José Aldo we were talking about, a fighter who had already established himself as an all-time great and was in his prime. No matter how much trash McGregor talked, he had to beat Aldo if he was going to be champion. When Aldo was forced to pull out of their scheduled contest in the summer of 2015 due to injury, it only added to the intrigue.
Right, 2.5 weeks out. Somebody's kicking you so hard they break your ribs. Hey, sunshine.
What's up?
This is what you call a rude awakening.
Yeah.
He broke his fucking rib.
Oh my God. So what happens now?
Here's what happened next, Conor. You stepped in and fought Chad Mendes, who up until that point had given José Aldo his toughest fight. In a thrilling fight, you defeated Mendes and proved that you're not just talk. Forget that the fight with Aldo lasted only 13 seconds. Forget that the UFC never forced McGregor to defend his featherweight title, something Aldo's resume should have warranted. The outcome officially crowned McGregor the undisputed champion of the featherweight division, lending him an air of invincibility that has arguably never been matched.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy's called a stop to this contest at 13 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world, the notorious Conor McGregor!
While McGregor's star did shine brighter with Diaz and Khabib, it was Aldo who officially made McGregor a household name. This rivalry didn't just elevate McGregor, it changed the landscape of the UFC. The emotional stakes were high. Aldo represented the established order, while McGregor was the brash newcomer challenging the status quo. Their clash was more than a fight, it was a pivotal moment that showcased the power of charisma, mental warfare, and skill inside the octagon.
The Aldo fight was crazy because I think that was the first time that anybody ever really disrespected Aldo. Because Aldo was the fucking man for so long.
Looking back, the McGregor versus Aldo rivalry set the stage for the modern era of the UFC, where storytelling and personality can be as impactful as performance. It drew in countless new fans, broke pay-per-view records, and demonstrated how a single rivalry can captivate the world. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what you think of this series where we showcase some of the greatest rivalries in UFC history. Also, share any rivalries you'd like to see covered in future episodes. We'd love to hear your suggestions. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.